What's up, guys? My name's Landon, and today I wanted to talk to you about the documentary that I recently watched called The Game Changers, which was originally released in 2018. The main purpose of this documentary was to argue that plant-based proteins were much more beneficial and much healthier than animal-based proteins, and the documentary used several celebrities as well as professional athletes to back their case. This documentary was especially interesting to me, seeing as that I work out regularly. I've been working out consistently ever since September of last year. After COVID started, I really started getting a inner sense of motivation, if you will, for working out and really appreciating my body and wanting to better myself. So this seemed like a really cool documentary to kind of look over, not only learning some new things about fitness, but kind of testing what I already knew myself. No, I did some research myself just to get a base of things that I was going to want to be eating throughout my diet, in bulking phases where you're trying to put on weight compared to cutting phases, the different types of foods you should be eating, the different macronutrient levels. That was all really new to me, so I did a lot of research just trying to find out basically what I was going to want to be eating in order to keep up with my goals, whether it be bulking or cutting. Now, like I said, I was just starting out, so I didn't know too much about the credibility of what I was reading, but this documentary took everything that I knew and everything that I thought I knew and flipped it completely upside down. Granted, this documentary isn't 100% the diet for every single person as it claimed, but it did bring up a lot of maybe stereotypes that I was ignorant to or things that I really didn't think about until they kind of mentioned it. One of those being that eating meat and eating eggs and milk and dairy products and just animal-based protein in general makes you a lot stronger and have much better endurance than someone that eats a simple plant-based diet. I know for me, I drew a lot of motivation from people on TikTok or other social media platforms that would advertise eating like chicken and steak and beef and stuff like that just to really bulk up and help you get that extra protein in order to gain the muscle that you need. But it was cool listening to this documentary kind of debunk what I was thinking, kind of telling me that these are professional athletes and celebrities that follow a strictly plant-based diet. They were seeing not only the same results that you would on an animal-based protein diet, but much significantly higher levels in energy, as well as all the vitamins and minerals that you'd think and that scientists have told us up until now you get from animal-based protein. The reason this documentary was created was because the narrator, John Wilkes, discovered that while he was on injury for 6 months, he found that nutrition was the only thing that he was able to do, seeing as he wasn't able to work out and he wasn't able to do physical therapy or anything really to be able to speed up his recovery. So he focused a lot on nutrition. And he found this myth that plant-based protein was actually better than an animal-based protein diet. And this documentary really goes into debunking that myth. What I really enjoyed about it was that for every claim he made, a scientist or a nutrition specialist or a doctor would kind of support or really like go against what he was saying. So you never felt like anything they were saying was just thrown out there. There was nothing that they would say that really just left you wondering if they were even just spouting out anything they thought or anything like that. It really just seemed like when they made a claim, they had someone who was a specialist in that field able to speak on that topic, which made it really reassuring for me knowing that there were other people supporting what he was saying. One of my favorite parts of this documentary was where they took 3 athletes from the Tennessee Titans, which is a professional football team, for those of you who don't know, and they laid out a breakfast for them. There were 3 guys, 3 meals. 2 of them were animal-based protein, chicken and beef in the burritos, and then 1 was plant-based. And then following day, all 3 athletes were given a plant-based breakfast, and then their blood was taken each day to see the clarity as well as how easily the blood vessels and the blood circulation was moving through their bodies. And the results were pretty shocking. Just with 1 day of just eating a plant-based meal, their blood was significantly clearer and purer. between the two athletes that had had the animal-based protein for the first day. This was a pretty big deal for me. Like I said, I'm very new at this whole fitness and nutrition thing, but there someone was telling me that plant-based protein was not only just as good, but if not better than animal-based protein, and not only on a muscular level, not only to build muscle, not only to look big, because that's only a small portion of people's goals. A lot of people are just looking to live a much healthier lifestyle, free without having to worry about the risk of heart disease or stroke or anything like that. And it was really cool when they switched to a section that was much more scientific and focused more at the molecular level of what plant-based protein did compared to what animal-based protein did to the body at the cellular level. Basically, they took a bunch of test subjects and monitored their blood after having an animal-based meal, and then it switched over to a plant-based meal the following day, and it measured the blood flow as well as the circulation again, just to see how much of a change they saw in it. And studies found that every single plant that people consumed contained every single essential amino acid, which means that the amino acids that we can't produce ourselves are found in most, if not all, of the vegetables that a lot of us lack, and a lot of them that we aren't eating. But a lot of people still don't like to switch over. A lot of people are afraid to change. So for many people, just hearing that it made them healthier or that they'd get a few more amino acids in them really didn't do much. What really stuck out to me, as well as a lot of people, that was more like a shock factor for them, especially James's dad, was that a plant-based protein diet showed to decrease the risk of heart disease by 55%, which is a very, very high percentage. And based off just a diet alone is one of the most effective methods of treating heart disease, not only the solving of the problem, but also the prevention of getting heart disease in the first place. I don't want to give too many names away of celebrities or professional athletes that were on this documentary, but I was very, very happy to see that some of the people that I idolized and some of the people that were masters, or at least considered masters of their craft, were put in this video and really speaking on how important a diet was, especially plant-based, in the nutritional aspect of health in our lives. One of my favorite athletes is Conor McGregor. He's a UFC fighter, and it was really, really cool watching as he went up against an opponent that was strictly on a plant-based diet. And it's really hard to compare because UFC is so hit or miss. Someone can just get hit with a lucky shot. Someone can just land like a really good combination or something like that. But Conor McGregor is known for being extremely arrogant and extremely outspoken. He tries to get in people's heads. He plays a mental game, which is really, really fun to watch. So that's why I like him so much. But it's pretty interesting to see after the press conference with Nate Diaz, who was the person on the plant-based diet. He didn't have anything to say negatively about Nate Diaz. All he spoke about was how much energy Nate seemed to have against him. Just how much more energetic Nate was in the cage than him, how he just wasn't able to keep up. And something that was really interesting is he attributed that to his diet. McGregor would claim to eat 2 steaks minimum a day. So obviously he was getting a lot of his protein from animal-based sources, which was really, really interesting just to hear that the reason he was blaming the loss was not because he was a worse fighter, not because he lost on the day because of skill. He was attributing his loss because he didn't have enough energy and he didn't have enough strength to go on and win the fight solely due to his diet, and how the plant-based diet for Nate worked much, much better for him. Overall, I just think this is a really, really interesting documentary. Even if you don't agree with it, even if you're still going to stick with animal-based protein, that's completely fine. I just think it was really, really interesting, seeing as we're in a nutrition class, to just see the difference in diets and how much impact it really can have on people. So I'd highly recommend it if you guys want to watch it. It's on Netflix. That's where I watched it, because I watch everything on Netflix. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and definitely if you guys have any questions about things, just ask me. But thanks, guys.